But obviously, look, you mentioned there may not be enough ball now to go around to all these players. And another player who will be looking for that now is obviously someone you mentioned in Luther Burden, the second round pick. I mean, I think this does definitely scream of best player available. I mean, I don't think many people talk going into the draft that, yeah, wide receiver is going to be high up on that list. I mean, you wouldn't be surprised if they took one later on, but you definitely wouldn't have been picking maybe wide receiver in the second round. But obviously, Luther Burden falls down. He comes across as someone who's not too impressed that he fell out of the first round, which I mean can be a good thing if a player has that little bit of a chip on his shoulder. But I mean, can there be issues now in terms of, who does get the ball and how does Ben Johnson work this? But actually, before we even go into any negatives, what do you just think of this player actually in terms of him being there for the Bears and then being able to say, you know what, maybe we were thinking about this or this, but we just can't pass this player up in this spot here?
Right. When I first saw that he was the selection, I was shocked. Were you shocked? Like, you scale 1 to 10?
Oh yeah, I was up there. I didn't see that happening at all. We're talking 8, maybe
Yeah.
8 up there.
Out of like the most recent draft picks I can remember, I mean, maybe I have to go back to 2017 with Trubisky when he was picked, but that was the most shocked I've been in a long time for a Bears draft pick. Just did not see it coming. For the reasons you said, like best player available, they do have a solid wide receiver room. They could have used somebody else no matter what, but yeah, now you bring in somebody who played the position at a high level for the last couple of years, mainly in 2023 for Missouri. But it's come out now. A few people have said it that it seems like the Bears were targeting TreVeyon Henderson with that 39 pick, and they were sniped just one pick before by the New England Patriots. So obviously they had to pivot, and Burden was the best player available. He really is a DJ Moore clone. I mean, when I've been watching him, even before, I think maybe Daniel Jeremiah was the first one to say it when he was picked, I was like, this guy does a lot of things very similarly to what DJ Moore does. He creates a lot of yards after the catch, runs those quick out routes, gets upfield quickly, used in jet sweeps, pretty good rusher as well, or running the ball. I mean, this guy can do it all. And, he's not bad as a deep threat either. So, but Ben Johnson has talked about how he wants receivers to complement one another. And that's why the Colston Loveland pick made so much sense. So why did you just draft a DJ Moore clone when you have DJ Moore, who's still only 28 years old? He did have a down year last year. There were some issues with attitude and how he was fitting into the team. But that really sends a clear message to me that says, you got to get your stuff together because you got to fall in line, or we have somebody right behind you that's going to take this. And it seems like, Ben Johnson's got a plan for fitting all these guys in. Somebody's going to be left out one game or another, but, I'm very interested to see how quickly Luther Burden gets into the mix here. I mean, clearly he comes in as wide receiver 3 no matter what, but who knows? Does he ascend to a wide receiver 2? Does he become a quick favorite target of Caleb Williams? Who knows? But I really like the player overall. I think part of his production dipped last year because of injuries to Brady Cook and Missouri. Just, wasn't as effective, wasn't getting the ball as much. It will be interesting to see how he falls in line with the other playmakers, since he was the guy for the last few years at Mizzou.
Yeah, no, I think, yeah, look, as I say, I think he's a fantastic player. He has that. He looks to have that ability to make that step up to the NFL to really be a top wide receiver. It will be interesting to see how the coaching staff handle these players and Ben Johnson in terms of, who feels like they, should be getting more of the ball. I think this would worry me more last year, looking at the previous coaching staff, who I think had no control over these players. Whereas I think Ben Johnson and the staff he's put in place, Antoine Randall obviously will be there with the wide receivers. And we look at the other guys they brought in. I have more confidence that this coaching staff will be able to kind of work with these guys and to keep them, keep them in good spirits, hopefully.
By the way, did you see the video of when they called Luther Burden and how excited Antoine Randall was?
Yes.
That was
But
incredible.
that tells you everything. Like, that tells you they obviously didn't expect this player to fall. As you say, Henderson looks like the player they were targeting. He, in fairness, if I'm honest, he is the player I hope they would have got at that point. But when they do what they do, then you get disappointed. He goes one spot in front of you. But then when they make the move, you can kind of sit back and say, okay, do you know what? I'm really looking forward to this Ben Johnson offense, and I think they've just got another weapon that can, if it all works out, can really be effective.